Welcome to the Wench Bench, where friends sit and talk about fabulous fictional females and how their stories have influenced us throughout our lives. My name is Fonda.
And my name is Alison.
Today, Alison's going to be talking about the last two Duskwalker
Brides.
Brides. I was like, I already fucked that up. Today, Alison is going to be talking about the last two Duskwalker fuck brides.
It's been a minute since we've recorded. It's been a minute.
And it has, and also the holidays have, I think, respectfully kicked us all.
Yep.
That when I have to do anything that needs my brain to be on point, it hasn't been. But the two female characters that we're going to be talking about today are Lynn and Zyla. Did I get that right?
Yes, you got their names right.
Thank God.
I knew you could do it.
Thanks, Alison. Thank you for trusting in me, having faith in me. I really appreciate it this year, 2026.
Yeah. I mean, as our episode output has shown, life has been a little wild for the past little bit here. But we're now able to, just like with our last episode that we released, this is another episode that unfortunately was tragically lost due to technical issues. So we've waited long enough, though. I feel like Fonda's probably forgotten everything that we talked about.
I think the only thing I might remember, and you can cut this out if it's true, is there's anal.
Yes. I mean, there was anal in the other ones, too. Oh, right. Trigger warning. Content warning. We're going to be talking about sex stuff. Because the Duskwalker Brides books are romance books. So they do involve sex.
Yes.
And
if you clicked this, I would be surprised not knowing, because it will be in the episode description and it will have an explicit tag.
Correct. And on YouTube, I'm really sorry you're going to have to log in to watch it.
Yes.
Because I don't want to get us like deleted or something. But okay, so the first person that we are going to talk about is Lynn. And Lynn is partnered with the Duskwalker Nethair, and he's actually my favorite one. So it's great. I'm very excited to talk about this book. And it is book 7, A Soul to Protect. If you guys haven't listened to the other ones, I would suggest listening to the other ones. If you don't remember much about this world, I would also suggest going back and re-listening to those, because I'm not going to be doing a ton of like explanation when it comes to the rest of the world.
I feel like if you're listening to this, seeing that it's part of the series, I would like to hope,
fingers crossed,
you've either read them and thus you want to know, or you've at least heard of the Alison and I talk about the first one. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, otherwise, this might not be making a ton of sense.
And maybe you love that. I'm not here to... Sometimes maybe you just want to hop in for a fun ride, and that's okay too. Yeah,
if you just, for some reason, like the sounds of our voices, that's good for you. I commend you for that. As somebody who has to listen to our voices, and it weirds me out still every time. While editing. It's strange, but farewell. Okay, so in this book, Nethair has been brought back to life by Welldeer, their father, the Duskwalker's father. He agreed to be the first to undergo the magic that had brought back Alaron, which was the book previous to this one. his time within the afterlife, and due to the souls that he ate there, he has been left mostly nonverbal and dealing with attacks that stem from reliving memories from the soul that he has eaten. So he's suffering from a lot of different traumatic responses. He has orange eyes, which some may recognize as the color of guilt. He also has curling ram horns and a snake skull. He is the largest of all the Duskwalkers, as he has a massive tail. He is amphibious, since so much of what he ate was reptiles and fish. Linh, our heroine, is from a village that was being protected by a group of bandits. They demand a lot in exchange for this protection, and one of these demands was Linh herself. Her father was a leader within the village, so not only is she beautiful, but she is also a good bargaining chip. This book is particularly heavy, as so much of her story revolves around her healing after experiencing sexual assault. If that is not something you are in a space to be able to listen to, I suggest skipping past this book to the next one. This book also happens to be my favorite because of the way her storyline is handled. So I think that if that content is something that might usually be difficult, you still might be able to give this a try if you are reading the rest of the series. I think that it was handled in a very respectful way. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt, but go in knowing that that is going to be some of the content that we are going to be discussing today. Okay, so that was just an overview. Never mind. That wasn't the synopsis. This is the synopsis. I lied. There's a general overview of the people that we're going to be talking about today.
Here we go.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
So the synopsis for this book. Linh has managed to escape her captivity and is attempting to get back to her home. Along the way, she camps next to a lake within which lies Nether, who finds being surrounded by water helps to dull his senses. After surviving demons through the night, the bandits have tracked her down. Her screams alert Nether, who ends up saving her. She manages to convince him to protect her, and he brings her below into an underwater cave. The two begin learning to communicate through sign language, and Nether shows himself to be a compassionate, funny, but also troubled being. His attacks make him black out, and it resembles a seizure. They eventually learn that Lin's singing can actually soothe the voices that plague him, and it allows him to speak. But these words are all of his thoughts, completely unfiltered. At one point, demons attack, and Linh is poisoned. Nether brings her back to her village to be healed and refuses to leave until she tells him to. Unfortunately, the bandits attack and steal her away. So Nether must hunt them down and rescue her. And he kind of, murders them all, which is great. It's definitely quite the epic scene at the end of the book. The two return to her village and are mostly accepted into the community as a couple. So, yeah. So I have a lot of notes on this one. Because as I mentioned, it is my favorite. So just kind of generally starting talking about Linh and her portrayal. So as she escapes, Linh has gone through not only sexual abuse, but also physical abuse. They have attempted to hurt her legs. So he's actually so when she's running away, she has to do so on badly healed, broken feet, essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah. So she has been through some truly terrible things, but she still chooses survival. A lot of her kind of mental thoughts are difficult to read because she is trying to process these things, trying to think about what it is that her life is left with after fighting so hard to escape, but she can't go back to her home because that would make her family unsafe. And if Nether doesn't protect her, she has nowhere else to go. And so she's forced to reconcile with everything that happened to her and process that trauma alongside a creature that could kill her, but also that cannot speak to her. which just makes this like added level of difficulty. But also, I think their inability to communicate allowed her the space that she needed to process by herself, but alongside somebody else. So it was this really kind of beautiful growth that they made together. And then Nether having to deal with dying. He was actually killed by Merrick. So the bull, horn, and bear skull, Duskwalker, his own brother, back when Merrick was younger. And he has shown to be a very like playful being, but in struggling with having to relive a lot of these traumatic memories of the souls that he's consumed, he's processing things that he has no context for. So when they do eventually kind of start discussing her trauma a little bit more, he understands what it is that happened to her, but his only source of reference for how it's occurred is through these weird sort of disjointed memories, and then through what it is that she's telling him and sharing with him. So it's this really unique way of coming at these experiences, because he has memories of being the perpetrator, doing this kind of violence to women. So he has truly horrible memories alongside like happy ones. So it's this very kind of complex process that he goes through, and that we get to kind of like go along with him throughout the story. And both of their like inner monologues and inner processes are fascinating in different ways. And one of the ways that they start to be able to communicate is because she actually knows sign language. So some of the people in her village were deaf or sometimes mute, and the bandits had broken her father's hands at one point while trying to take control of this city. And so she ended up having to learn sign language to help him communicate with the other people of the village. And so it's kind of this skill learned from tragedy proved to be useful in her own healing. And Nether had his own kind of version of sign language that him and Will Deer had used to communicate in the afterlife. And so the both of them are able to kind of teach each other and learn each other's languages in this really kind of like, in this really cute way. And Nether is like constantly like, well, mine's obviously better.
Yeah.
But it's him and one whole other person who know this language, and then it's a bunch of other people on this planet that know her language. So she has to try and convince him. But he's like, well, you could talk to more people. And he's like, I don't want to talk to more people.
I don't want this. What do you mean?
He's like, I actually don't want to.
I would like to add that I think it's kind of like in regards to the previous statement you made about her being able to heal while not needing to work through having to communicate with another person verbally. I think it's kind of like the way that it probably also worked so well is because some people just need a person in their space, and that's all they need. Mm-hmm. Like, they need the physical presence of maybe somebody being there so they don't feel alone, but they don't necessarily have to have another person be there to help them work through what's going on in their head. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like, it's really, I think the whole way that they went about her healing and her story was really like sensitive, like from a very like understanding and empathetic place. Mm-hmm. But also to juxtapose that with showing her to be just stubborn and funny, and showing how she still sees the beauty in the world despite all like the darkness that she's experienced. At one point, when he first, kind of early on in the story, when he first hears her outside kind of dealing with the demons and all the stuff that she's dealing with, he just like states in his own mind, I have decided. Let her be eaten. And then like 2 pages later, he's like, fuck. I guess I'm going to go see her. She's screaming and it's annoying. So it's like she almost inconvenienced him into protecting her. And then once she's inside his cave, she just refuses to leave. He's like, well, no, I'll bring you out here and I'll put you out there. And she's like, no, that'll kill me. And she just refuses to let him push her away. She's like, I won't bother you. I'll just basically sit over here in the corner. Just let me stay. And he gets so frustrated with her, but he still like puts up with it. And it's very cute. They have this very like combative relationship at the beginning because he doesn't like anybody in his space. He's a very solitary creature. And that kind of came from the fact that he's spent a very, very long time in the afterlife where the only person he had to communicate with was Weldir. And all of the souls that exist there, as soon as he touched them, they would basically start screaming. And then he would feel that fear and then he'd eat them. So it just was not, he had no time to develop any sort of social skills. But now he's kind of forced to. He calls her Bunny, which is very cute.
Aww.
At one point, I believe she crawls like up into he has this big like nest where all of his like special things are. And she goes up into it and he starts like, it almost like clicks something in his brain because his nest is like where he puts things that are important to him. And he's like, once they're in there though, that's where they belong, like forever. And so it's kind of this misunderstanding at first. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, oh no, like she's pretty though. And she belongs up there in the nest with all of my other pretty things. And he gets like very possessive about it. And he starts like realizing that he actually enjoys her company, her like quiet strength and her just like place at his side and her patience with him. But he finds it to start becoming a comforting presence there. One of the reasons why she finds him comforting is because he's not human. Mm-hmm. Because after such a long time of experience violence, words are hard. Because of spending such a long time experiencing violence at the hands of men, she finds the touch, particularly of like his tail wrapping around her, to be actually really quite comforting, almost like a compression. So a couple times throughout the story, he's like wrapped around her and it completely soothes her. So she's having like a panic attack or she's worried about something and he wraps her up in his big tail and she just like relaxes and she's surrounded by his scent and this pressure and she can feel safe in a touch that is inhuman. And that kind of like mental exploration is a part of the reason why I love monster romance so much, is because you can kind of explore these themes in a way that is very like metaphorical. Mm-hmm. We do learn that Nether actually really likes praise, which is hilarious. She'll like compliment him a lot or like tell him that he's doing a good job and he gets all like, oh yeah,
he wants to be a good boy.
I am doing a good job. Like when they're learning or like practicing or like anything and he does something good.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, I'm a good boy. Because I think that's also something he's never really necessarily received in his life that he can remember, is this sort of like positive companionship. And it starts bringing out this really like playful side to him, which we saw a little glimpse of in the last book when Alaron is in the afterlife. We get like a glimpse of this like playful, mischievous side to him. At one point, she like trips and falls and he like has to catch her as they're like tumbling down a cliff. And he like pretends that he died. Like he like sticks his tongue out and like lays on his back. Just to try and get a rise out of her. And it's really, really cute. Oh. So as they start kind of getting more friendly with another, like actual just like developing this friendship, the desire kind of starts to build. And we see Lynn beginning to want to find her positivity again, to find her like playful self that she feels like she has lost or that was taken away from her. And it's made easier by his patience with her. So even when they do start becoming like kind of physically intimate, it's a very slow build up. And he pays such close attention to all of her physical reactions. So if she starts tensing up or if she starts getting worried, he backs off immediately and he takes everything at her pace. And he doesn't expect anything more. And so she's able to take the lead and to recapture her power. Like at one point she's like literally like sitting on his entire tail. Like he is like massive. I think he's like 30 feet long or something. Like he's huge. And with just like a word, with just a motion or like a physical response, she's able to stop everything from continuing. And him giving her that power, you kind of see it start making her like feel better, right? Like you kind of see it starting that healing process. You see her realizing like these touches aren't wrong. Like I can discover desire again. I can experience want and lust, and it can be done in a way that I feel safe. And not only is it healing, but it's also like, it's really like sexy in the book. Like it's really like empowering and sexy and like absolutely wonderful. The way that it's written is so, it's just amazing. I just absolutely loved everything about their relationship. Even when it goes badly, he still never blames her for that. He never makes it her fault that she reacted badly, and he doesn't even take it personally himself. Sometimes he gets a little bit guilty because that's kind of his go-to emotion, right? With his orange eyes, that's kind of, he's more prone to guilt. But he trusts her when she says that it's not him. When they communicate and she explains, he's like, okay, but what can I do? I know that it's not my fault that you had this reaction inherently, but what can I do to help you not have this reaction again? So they're having these really important conversations, and it doesn't shy away from how difficult that journey back to intimacy can be. When she does eventually give him her soul, we discover that she has, like, it's heartbreaking. She has like these red handprints on it, on like parts of her body that were hurt. And it's like, and he wants to like fix it, and he wants to take care of it. And it's this like visual representation of the kind of damage that something like sexual assault could do and does do to a person's very inner being, right? Like it's not just what's on the outside. It's not just her injured legs or bruises or anything like that. Like it's internal as well. But it's also not permanent. One of the other things that I think they did really well is from his point of view, as I kind of mentioned, him kind of respecting her choices. And at one point, I think this is pretty close to a direct quote. It said, he could not fight them for her, these monsters. They were not his battle to face. However, he could be her armor, her sword, and her steed, fighting alongside her until she claimed victory. Right? Right?
You can't see my facial expression, but it's a really wholesome, good one right now.
He's just such a good Duskwalker, because he's not a man. He's a good boy. Asterisk. He's such a good being, and like he doesn't even have a soul. So it's like he's not a good soul either. But yeah, just his ability to process and to empathize and to understand that he's like, this isn't like my fight. Like this has to be her fight, but I can be there for her. I can support her, and I can be what she needs me to be. There's this really cute, like, it goes from like a very sexy moment to this very wholesome moment. So at one point she is having a naughty dream about him specifically. And she wakes up and she thinks he's asleep, and she like starts to masturbate, and then things continue, and he refuses to like touch her. He just kind of lets her explore herself and her own pleasure. And it's this very like sexy and kind of romantic moment because he's like watching her and she feels desired and she feels sexy and powerful. And then as a reward for like being so like nice, he just wants a kiss. And so she gives him a kiss and he's like, yay, I'm going to get more kisses. And he likes the feeling of her lips like on his skull and when she like leans forward, and he just like loves her kisses so much. So much so that like later in the books when they're kind of getting used to the town and stuff, she like put on lipstick and like had kissed his face, and he like wears her like lipstick kisses all through town so that people know that like that he's hers. And it's so cute. He just loves her little kisses so much. And yeah, like weirdly wholesome, but you know.
Alison's like, it's a bit weird, but
yeah. And they find like different things. Like he'll hold his breath because she kind of starts to discover that she likes a little bit of like fear, which is a very kind of common response to survivors of like sexual assault. It's a big lead into things like dark romance and stuff like that. It's a very cathartic and healing moment to be able to experience fear and dangerous situations, but know that you're safe. And so he'll hold his breath and then chase her so that he can't smell her fear.
Aww.
And it's just so beautiful seeing them find ways to adapt and to like make each other feel happy and find new things about themselves. So once they figure out that because one of the kind of bigger issues that they face is when they find out that her singing makes it so that he essentially like says all of his thoughts out loud, they have to kind of deal with that almost violation, right? Like he has to come to terms with the fact that like he can't keep anything from her. And she also has to realize that like thoughts don't necessarily equate to what actual feelings, right? Like I don't say everything that I think because everything I think isn't something that I actually want to say because I'm a thinking human being. But also that inability to lie to her begins to help her to establish deeper and deeper trust with him. And so then he has to like eventually learns to trust her with all of his thoughts. And then she can learn to trust him more because she has those thoughts. So they also figure out that it's not just her singing that works, but also her moaning.
Is it like, is that something that is like an immediate thing that they find out, or does she pick up on it after a few times and is like, oh?
So I think they figured it out in their first time. It's been a minute since I've read the book. But like, yeah, it takes like a little bit during their kind of experience because she's also, the first couple times they get intimate, she doesn't really like verbally express very much because she's not like quite comfortable yet. So it isn't until they start like really getting hot and heavy that they start to figure it out. And then she starts to hear all the like filthy things he's thinking while they're together. Oh, also, I completely forgot to mention, because I'm pretty sure Fonda made this joke the last time we recorded, like super early on, but he does have 2 dicks. So last time I didn't have to establish this because I'm pretty sure Fonda made a joke about it. Right?
I did, and we lost it into the ether, and I'll never remember what my joke was.
I don't remember either. But he does have 2 dicks. And the tentacles.
And a long tail.
A long tail.
She's just a pillow princess in a cozy
big nest, just surrounded by like warm scales all the time. It's just, oh my gosh, it just sounds so like it sounds so great. We end up kind of discovering that she is a distant descendant of the priests and priestesses known as the Azuli. We've talked about them like a couple different times in a couple different other books. They've come up, but they're essentially from like how the elf race is from a different realm. the Azuli are also from a different realm, and they came here to try and help fight the demons. And they have like inherent magical powers. And so she's sort of like received some of those in her, through her bloodline. So that's why that's perhaps why her voice is particularly soothing to him.
Oh, because there's more to it than just like it's obviously a fantasy book, but there's more to it than just being like, oh, it's just like we're just perfect together, and like her tone and intonate and inflection and whispers just like hits that neuron in my brain. Like, it's probably what it sounds like is there's also like weaving of some kind of magic through the use of her voice.
So yeah, that's
great. Cool.
It's really cool.
And very fun when it comes to spicy moments, I'm sure.
Yes, it is. It's very fun. Where are we? Okay, yes. So to kind of like specifically focus on their because everything kind of up till now has all just been like fooling around, touches, those kinds of things. But their first actual time together, he sort of loses himself a little bit and goes to kind of overpower her, and she starts to panic. But instead of fully like pulling away, he starts asking questions to ground her and bring her back to what is happening. So she asks like, what is my name? And like what do you feel right now? Like his scales and stuff like that. And it sort of is like one of those sort of like panic attack response kind of things. And he starts specifically asking questions to remind her that he isn't a human. So at one point he asks, he says like, what are the color of my cocks and how many do I have? And it actually like brings her back to it in this way that is like in equal parts, like understanding and also like kind of sexy at the same time, with like a little bit of humor in there to not make her feel like she's ruined the moment with her completely natural response. And he finds a way to make her smile and laugh and like work through this fear that she had, which was just, it was just this really incredible like moment where he just was exactly what she needed when she needed it. And the next morning, another like almost like right at like all of these things happen like very quickly together, because the morning after they have sex for the first time, when she wakes up, she starts to have a panic attack because he's not awake yet. And the soreness of what they did starts to bring back traumatic memories. And he lets her cry, and she starts asking him to like take it away, essentially like take away the feeling of what she did, because the Duskwalkers can heal. And then if he took that pain away, she wouldn't be feeling it anymore. But he basically instead encourages her to change what she's thinking about those feelings, to be like, no, like, who made you feel that way? How did I make you feel that way? Like, remember who did it, not what this reminds you of, but what actually happened. And to kind of, again, like help her reprocess what's going on and to help her find ways to embrace the same feelings that were poisoned for her, right? Like that kind of like that sort of ache is, he wants her to remember that fondly, to have her wake up the next morning and be like, ooh, like what did we do last night, right? And he wants her to start feeling those ways and wants her to start kind of recapturing those feelings and to not feel so disconnected from her body because of everybody. When he goes into his like attacks, he is like trapped in his body and being forced to experience these memories, and he like can't move. And so he understands in a different way, what it is to not feel like your body is your own. And he helps her through it. And it's really like this like beautiful moment.
Aww. Yeah.
And at this point she asks to see her soul, and she notices that some of the handprints are gone, and some of the darkness that was darkening her soul has begun to melt away, because he can pull it out of her chest and not actually eat it. So that's what he's been doing. He's been just kind of letting her see it and then letting her have it back. So yeah, it's this really kind of beautiful thing where she starts realizing like that what she's doing is working, that she is actually healing from this, and she's finding new parts of herself. And at this point, he actually asks, like when she's looking at it, he asks to actually like physically touch it. And it's kind of this realization with her and with him that he would never do anything to her without her consent. And when he does touch it, he just holds it so gently and he is so careful with it. And it's the same like level of reverence that he treats her physical body as well. And it's like, oh my God, it's such an emotional scene. And it's so good.
Aww. I feel like in real life it would be nice to physically have some kind of visual when you're going through healing, because sometimes, especially if it's slow, you might not always like notice.
Yeah.
So the fact that she can, I'm sure, is really helpful, because some people just need to see that like the work that they're putting in, even if maybe day to day they don't feel like a difference is being made, being able to see it can like make a world of a difference.
Yeah. It just was such a beautiful way through this entire book to explore like that healing process. So kind of as we're getting near sort of the end of the book, at one point he accidentally, I believe it's during one of his attacks, he accidentally envenoms her. And so he has to take her back to the town to try and like get them to heal her, because he can't, for some reason, he can't heal his like own venom. Because it's specifically designed to like paralyze demons and stuff like that. And they make him wait outside the gate. And no matter who comes to talk to them, because they keep trying to like come out and basically like lie to him and say that she doesn't want to see him and that she actually like wants him to leave. And he's like, she can tell me that. Like, you will not be lying to me. Like, she can come out here and she can tell me that. And his like, just
she
like
can communicate to me.
Yeah. And like just his absolute like steadfast, like there will be no miscommunication trope in this book. She will tell me or I will stay here forever. And it's a good thing that he did, because then she gets kidnapped and he has to go rescue her, and she loves it. She loves it. She loves it. She loves it. It happens like in the rain. It's super like cinematic and excellent. And he just murders a lot of people. But he does so also, I'm pretty sure he like blocks his nose or something. He finds some way to like essentially not kill her. I don't remember if he has his soul before yet or not. But either way, he rescues her and brings her back to the town. And they actually get like full on married, like in front of her town, who now has to accept this like Duskwalker as their protector. And he makes them like the fancy dome that Orpheus had done kind of back in the first book to protect the town. So now they don't need the bandits, and now he's protecting the town too. And it's this cute like, it's this cute romantic situation where her family and like all of these regular ass humans are like, oh, okay, I guess this is happening.
Yeah.
Like, there's this giant snake creature and he's just, I guess, having sex with this girl, like who's like a fraction of his size.
Yeah. Just little small
lady.
Little cozy. He wants to keep her safe.
Yeah, and then they start talking about like having kids, and it kind of like ends off on them beginning to kind of move forward and like have their babies. And he talks about how he's going to feed them snakes right away and aquatic creatures so that they look like him.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to make sure that they look like me. They end up having twins.
Oh.
And he shows her off, and like he likes showing her off when she's pregnant. It's just so cute.
Aww.
And then I kept this like quote from Lynn's perspective, where he made her love the skin she was in simply because it was a vessel for him to cherish her in every way possible. And I just think that was really beautiful.
Aw,
So, yeah.
Alison finds the beauty in so many things.
It's just, it's this book in particular is a perfect example of why I like monster romance, right? Like, it just, all of the metaphors about it, all of the things that you can kind of like look at, and how it's like, like human men bear that, like, that power and that reality for, like, the reader of being the perpetrators of all of this violence, and kind of allowing women to explore safely in a world where it's like, regular men can kill us, but in this book, a monster that can definitely kill us, like, super quickly, is somehow kinder and, like, more human than a lot of humanity. And it's just wonderful.
It's because of the feeling of being othered.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. And so that's why I love the Duskwalker Brides, and particularly Lynn and Nether.
Nether's just a good
about,
name,
Fonda?
too. Nether's a good name.
It's just so good.
Oh, gosh. So I'm excited to watch season 2 of Fallout.
Ooh, yes.
I haven't yet, just because there's other things I was trying to finish in the month of December 2025. But I'm really excited that it's out, and I do plan on watching it. I just need to finish all the other things I told myself I would finish watching media-wise. And I'm so close. But it just, like, I really like the first season. And at least from what I've heard, a lot of people have also enjoyed season 2. So I'm excited. I'm excited about that. But you can find us wherever podcasts can be found. Please make sure to rate, review, and subscribe if you haven't already. You can find us on Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Wench Bench Pod. And if you want to reach out, you can send us an email at wenchbenchpod@gmail.com. All the art for the Wench Bench was designed by the wonderful Tessa Joyce Riecken. You can find them on Twitter and Instagram at Werefile. Thanks for listening, and talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Oh, bye-bye.